Hello everyone, we are the Sky Whisperers. Alison and I are here today to discuss the sky during July 2025. So, how is it starting, Alison, in July?
It starts actually with an absence of any planets in air, which is quite interesting. Shall I share the screen, Terry?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, cool. So July begins, and we've got this conjunction of the Sun and Jupiter still in Cancer. That's just kind of the Sun's moving away now, so that's coming to its conclusion. Um, and we've got Uranus right on that last anaretic degree of Taurus, where it's creating havoc in terms of land, in terms of finances, in terms of our global security, in fact. I mean, that's definitely what that Uranus is linked to, because Taurus is very much associated with our planet. That's why David Attenborough has a Taurus sun. You know, it's so this Uranus here of sudden change, of disruption. It is very much connected to the sort of the global threats and the disruption that we're feeling at the moment. The good news is, as we'll see in a moment, that in a few days that is going to go into Gemini, and it'll be much more about communication. And as Terry said in our webinar on Uranus and Gemini, it'll be much more about changing our mindset. But at the moment, just as we go into July, there's really not much objectivity. Everyone's kind of quite entrenched there in their positions. Uh, Venus and Uranus, they're in Taurus, and the Moon and the Sun and Jupiter together in Cancer. So that's very self-protective, very nurturing, very concerned about family, tribe, the things that we love, the things that are close to us. How does that
Yeah,
seem to you, Terry?
exactly. And also, I mean, we of course still have all that in a way conflicting, in a way a bit clashing energy that is going with the our self-expression or our beliefs and everything about what we think about our tribe and our dreams and how the reality that we see maybe because they have this still, I mean, at least the Jupiter
Yeah.
and yeah, and also very they are separating, of course. So it's like as you're saying that it's going to wear down and it will finish, but they still have this Jupiter and Sun is quite, I mean, like wide orb has this square with both Neptune and Saturn at the beginning of this month in July. And the thing is that I think uh, of course, in the last degrees of sign, it could be always like that you are trying to do your last mission there. So you are like it's like you are clinging on to that, and then you are like it's like it's you are peak in the peak sense of expression in a way.
Yeah.
So I think. These all I mean like I think when you think about globally I mean it's starting from that I think that famous Jupiter Uranus, I think conjunction at a point that happened. I think it's all around all that thing because it's not only one place. In lots of places, things are going on, and I think
Definitely.
that like with the I think entrance into Gemini, maybe the people will come into their senses, uh, mental mentally senses. Because it's like I think that with the Taurus, I mean, it's like that it's uh, there is this fixed sign, and then sometimes there could be this opinionated, like you think in that way, and
Oh,
you have
definitely.
difficulty in changing, and it's a lot of like your attachment. I mean, like
Yeah,
Venus and everything, you are attached to anything that is valuable for you. I mean, so I think it's hard for, in any case, I mean, as individuals, it's hard to get separated from your values or the thing that the way that you relate to things, but hopefully it will wear out, and it will be for better for everyone. And it's nice to see at the beginning of the month the moon in Virgo. So it's like, yeah, that's all that practicality and efficiency maybe that will come. We will be
Yeah.
going into the month like that. But as you said, yeah, air element that doesn't exist. I mean, I think would be like asking us to make quite a lot of effort to communicate, to express our ideas and that kind of thing. What do you say?
Yeah, I think there's just not a lot of talking or listening going on in this chart. I mean, you talked about Venus being to do with attachment in Taurus, which it absolutely is, and holding things close. Taurus doesn't let go of things very easily. Venus in Taurus definitely doesn't let go of things very easily. Um, Pluto is the only planet here in an air sign, and Uranus too. I mean, he's sort of digging down and kind of bringing stuff up from the depths, in terms of uh, sort of opinions and zeitgeist ideals and all that kind of stuff, changes in terms of society. But Pluto too is in Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. So I mean that again is to do with fixed opinions, fixed ways of thinking about things, even if they are about change and creating something different. So yeah, not it's a good idea to see it. It's nice to see the moon in Virgo, managing things, adapting. But I think that reflects us as well, all of us trying to just adapt to these changing circumstances all the time as the world's this and then the world's that, and where's everything going? So interesting times. And we're coming out of Mercury, Pluto opposition, of course, and Mercury in Leo is thinking about us. How do we express ourselves? What's our agenda here? What are we bringing to the party? How can we get recognition, as it were? It's not really thinking about anybody else at that point.
Mhm.
And then Neptune goes retrograde, doesn't it, on the 4th? So that's the first kind of big shift of the month. So these two
Yes.
planets, Neptune and Saturn, that have basically just been ingressing into Aries, are now receding, you're retreating, if you like, taking steps back. So Aries, the warrior, very direct, very focused on what it wants. And Neptune to do with our ideals, idealizing the warrior, if you like. And now that ideal is retreating a little bit. It's going back. It's having a rethink. I'm just flicking the chart round here so that we can, let me just see what time it does that, so I don't keep having to flick the chart round.
Hopefully,
But
I don't. You don't see my thing at the same time. I can say it's
oh, that's okay. I'll just put it onto
that
the next day. That's fine. So it
that's the
actually
same as
happens.
they Venus goes into Gemini. Now we can see that Venus in
Oh
Gemini as
yeah,
well.
so we've got both there. So by the 5th, we've got Venus in Gemini, having made that conjunction with Uranus in Taurus. I think that's quite important actually. That real lockdown on being attached, and then suddenly there's a release here as it moves into
Yeah,
Gemini. And we get a change of atmosphere, don't we? A change of
yeah,
air, if you like, some fresh
yeah,
air.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's actually it's like also it's like in the sense that air comes into the sky. Finally, it's like you start like breathing again in a way,
Yes,
like
yes, just
taking
like,
your head out of the, out of
yeah,
the, it's like because Taurus is like earth, soil. So in that sense, it's like you are maybe sometimes under it, etc. And then the
yeah,
moment that
yeah,
finally,
yes, yes. It's like you were buried and you're coming up for air. Exactly. Yeah, it's a really good image, actually. Um, and I think we will all be feeling that when this Venus goes into Gemini. And then it's making the nice flowing aspect to Pluto. So it's working with the power, if you like, this air, this fresh air, this lightness, if you like. this idea of change, adaptability, and moving away from that entrenchment that it was in Taurus. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think, I mean, with the Neptune, in any case, I mean, it's like, since it's just the beginning, I mean, like, you are just warming up, and then, I mean, whatever actions the people took, I mean, in the few months, etc., regarding their ideals, dreams, or the images that they create, I mean, for themselves, I think it's already like, okay, it's in a way, because you get off out of Pisces, it's a different world, it's the dream world, and you come into more like another action based, and more self, I mean, from that collective to self. So, and then with that, I think enthusiasm, sometimes you are like this, and then you could do things, that I think it's retrograde, it's like, okay, calm down, okay, you just got out, but are you on the right way? Maybe you have to adjust this. So it's a good period, I mean, like, both in the sense of transition, and like getting our those dreams, ideals, whatever Neptune is representing in certain area of our lives, with the areas that vary with that. And then it's a good time to, okay, slow down, okay, let's look at it, let's review what's going on. I mean, are you too much enthusiastic? Maybe are you too impatient to get out of that Pisces and coming to the areas, etc.? I think it's a good time. I mean, July is like retro retro July. I was joking
Retro
like
July.
that. It's like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like
yeah. I think that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, just slowing down, having a rethink. Too impatient. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's just go back and have a think about what we're doing, basically here. Um, and that's true on a personal level, as you said, as well as on a global stage. And it's really important to note that these planets, are multi-layered and they affect us on every level. So yeah, so the things that we want for ourselves as well, okay, we need to maybe rethink them and work them through a little bit more. Maybe we were a bit too attached to stuff.
yeah,
I think that's important. It's a good point. So we maybe move on here and we'll
yeah,
just have a quick look at Uranus going to Gemini, shall we?
yes, of course.
I mean, we did do the webinar on it if you want the complete kind of the complete version through the signs and houses, through the houses rather. But just a quick look at how it works here. So Uranus moves into Gemini, and as we said, change of mindset, Terry.
Yeah, exactly. It's complete. I mean, it's a different, I mean, version, different version of changes, sudden changes, and it's like
Yeah,
it's about our perspectives. I mean, it's our way of thinking. It's really important. I mean, like that to look into that. I mean, from that, I mean, again, it's different area of life, of course, that Uranus is moving from one side to another, but we have to give the fact that it's going to be 7 years,
yeah,
and it will probably, maybe, I mean, not necessarily, but may get into contact with the different placements in our natal chart. So during these 7 years, in certain area, different areas of lives, we will be, in a way, asked, required to make that change, the way that
hmm
we think, the way that we socialize, the
yeah,
way that we exchange our ideas, and
mm,
in a way, in our communication, and that rational mindset, because that's rational, and the way that, I mean, we dig the information, how we
yeah,
dig the
yeah,
information with Gemini. I mean, so it's like it is going to ask. I mean, if we had certain ways before, yeah, that maybe we have to accept it. I mean, it's in a way that until now we were thinking that it's going fine with that, or we were trying to make ourselves believe that it is fine. But with Uranus, I think it's more like, okay, you knew inside that it's not fine, and
Yes.
now there's a choice. Please change
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There is a choice. And with Gemini, it is, of course, as they call them, a double-bodied sign, it's the twins. So there are choices, there are different options with Gemini, whereas with Taurus, it's like this entrenchment, as we said, but now you've got more options. Okay, so how are you going to play that? How are you going to work it? And you're going to have to be more flexible, more adaptable in how you go about things, maybe as well, because Venus is there with it, more adaptable in how you approach your relationships, how you approach your values, how you approach things that you're attached to. But you've got Pluto there with you, and it's making this wonderful little sort of grand trine here, still connected to Saturn, still connected to Neptune. So different ways that you might be able to bring your dreams into reality, I think, there as well. This is all about.
Yeah.
So I think it's a positive shift actually, and I think it again, like Venus, it could be a relief after that sort of really entrenched disruption around land, around finances, around our security on our planet, to be honest. Yeah. And on a personal level as well, personal security. And now we're just going to have to adapt to all that and move on and work with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That was
good.
Uranus in Gemini. Yes. After that, what do we have?
So then we move on, I think, and on the 13th, Saturn also turns retrograde. So again,
We have the full moon before that, I
the full
think, on
moon,
the July
sorry. Yep, you're right. Oh, I put
July
the full
10th,
moon.
10th.
I put the full moon further down. Was that the 11th? 10th?
No, 10th, 10th, 10th.
What
Let me
time's
see
that,
the
sorry?
exact
We'll
the
get there.
exact time. I see 21:36, so there should be 22:36. Yes,
In France.
in France,
Yeah.
which would
Cool.
be
Okay, that's fine.
1849. Okay, hopefully
Yeah,
this is
so
not. I'm not.
1850, 1849. Well, it'd be 1850 actually. I'll just move that forward half a minute. Yeah. Yes, so the full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn, which is all about responsibility and duty
The,
and things that we have to do, isn't it? It's about taking
sorry,
care of things. Sorry?
sorry, the time step interval is still on the thing. We don't see the
Oh,
full
sorry. I
chart.
am
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry.
yeah. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Capricorn are about responsibility, about duty, about ambition. In the material world, it's about looking after things, I always feel, on a material level, as opposed to Cancer, which is much more about emotional nurturing, which is across the way there in where the sun is. But the sun there is in the moon sign. So the question there is about how can we take responsibility and organize ourselves in the material world? And because it's a full moon, what do we have to let go of in order to do that?
Yeah. It's important. I mean, to see here that, I mean, as I always say, it's the halfway. I mean, like, what did we do until
Yeah,
this point? It's like sometimes it's like a bell curve, that you get from the top, and then you get the peak, which is at the full moon, and then you go down again. And then what did you come with until this top point? I mean, what did you come with? What was, I mean, good for you? What wasn't the best for you? And that's the point that you decide to, I mean, complete the rest of the journey in a way. And I think Moon in Capricorn, which is in, of course, the detriment, because that's the
yeah,
opposite sign. And I mean, it's in a way sometimes Moon in Capricorn. I think there is more could be more difficulty in expressing your emotions.
Yeah.
Of course, in contrary, like that happens with the Cancer, that more emotional, more sensitive way. And I mean, you prefer, it's not like an Aquarius way, like you completely like maybe stay out like that, but there is still that kind of thing that, yeah, I don't get too much vulnerable because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what could happen. So that kind of feeling. But on the other hand, the Sun in Cancer is like, yeah, that it's like oh, that I take care of everyone, nurture, etc. That's the way that we identify ourselves. So in a way, it's like um, you have to, you cannot be so much distant because we need to have that kind of, I mean, whether we want or not, that kind of emotional exchange with the
Mm.
people. But you cannot be like, oh, well, like you cannot mother everyone also. So we,
Yeah,
that's a fine, that's a way to find the that kind of balance as well. I mean, in certain areas of our lives, and also it's like sometimes I see it as like work and home
definitely.
as well. I mean, like,
Definitely.
yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely. And it's yeah, I mean, traditionally in the chart, Cancer Capricorn is the 10th house and the fourth house. So you've got that work house, work, which is the 10th house, career, and how are you balancing that with the home life? And that could definitely be a theme for people, I think, at this full moon, actually. How are they going to work to balance those two things? And again, as always, as Terry said, what's not serving us here? What can we let go of in order to make this work? Those are the questions, aren't they? What can we, what do we need to hold on to continue to be stable and secure, sort of in the sense of materially and emotionally, but also what can we let go of? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's known as the axis of incarnation, one of the
Yeah,
four
yeah, yeah.
points of the chart,
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah, all the angles,
Cancer
yes.
being the parents and the place we come from, and Saturn and Capricorn sort of representing the place that we're going to, the material world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard out there. And the moon's going to be finding it hard in Capricorn too. It's quite sensitive, but the sun's back there in Cancer, kind of taking over its role in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, good. And meanwhile, of course, while this is happening, it's ruled by the sun, by Saturn in Capricorn down here, which is stationing, as I said a second ago, but too soon, stationing retrograde. So
Exactly.
that happens on, I have this written down, was
13th
it
of 13th of
13th?
July.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, great. So,
It's the same that date we will be talking about the I think the one of the nearest conjunction of the Saturn Neptune as well.
oh yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's the point. Yeah, that's the point
Yeah.
exactly.
The 13 minutes, that's as close as it gets, and they
Yeah,
stay within
yeah,
about 13 minutes for a few days, don't they? As
yeah,
Saturn turns
exactly.
retrograde there.
I think because you were talking about the I think on the 16th they
Yeah,
will conjunct the moon as well, right?
that's
You were
right.
telling something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. If I
Oh,
move
we
back
can
up.
cover all of them together. This is a bit far, I think.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, it's a few hours back. Sorry if that's making everyone feel a bit seasick when I move those around.
Okay,
Anyway,
I
that'll
think
do.
this
That's
is it.
fine.
That's it. That's it. That's
Anyway, so basically the moon comes through firstly the North Node in Pisces and then moves into Saturn, which is now retrograde in in Aries, and then through to Neptune retrograde in Aries. And all of them are making that very workable sextile actually down there
Pluto.
to Pluto. And the moon's also come through, of course, the sextile to Uranus. So we're starting to get that little cradle shape that sort of appears in 2026, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's I mean, moon in air. I mean, all these. I mean, with the Saturn, it's the same rhetoric that with the Neptune. I mean, like again, that the change and the transition, Pisces, and like, well, of course, in Saturn the situation is different because Saturn in Aries is thought to be in fall, so that it's not a
Yeah.
place that that it likes to be, because that's the uh, authority sitting there, and then someone is like, I want to go, let me go. And then so that's I mean, a bit challenging times maybe for Saturn in Aries, but in the
Hmm.
end, I mean, I think that that's again like the full moon. I mean, they have to find a way and then work together. I mean, Saturn knows
Mm.
to deal with the areas, etc. I think during its expression and during its nearly 2.5 years in this thing, and it's good to also again to make all that kind of reflections about how the Saturn in Aries started in a certain area of life, and then
Yeah.
what are we doing so far. So, and Moon coming to that, I think in a way it's like giving a bit of more energy.
Understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. uh, and that kind of, I mean, like, yeah, that's that kind of understanding, yeah, I think so. With the moon, I think it's nice. And also, as you mentioned, I mean, it's like all these sextiles with a bit of effort, I mean, like that kind of amicable relationship with the
Yeah.
transformation, with the possible changes,
Mm.
etc., are really possible. These are all active, what they call active signs. I mean, like they are
Hmm.
the, or I mean, what they call also masculine, but more like active signs.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yang
in
signs.
that sense,
Sure.
they have a lot of potential in them. So if they could work
Yeah.
together well,
Yeah.
then it could be wonderful. But if they start like, my way, your way, this way, etc., I mean, with the areas also, I think that may not work. So they have to find this really nice compromises, etc., so, and then work in a harmony, so it can really create powerful things in certain areas of lives.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I think, as you say, that moon is kind of highlighting that active signs as opposed to receptive signs. So they're the ones, Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius that go out and actually sort of are much more inclined to do things than the more receptive signs like Cancer, for example, and Virgo. And they're ruled here, these Aries planets, by Mars in Virgo, which is about managing things, about adapting to things, about working out how you can do things in a practical way. So I think it's a positive sort of sort of potentially a very positive kind of connection here that everything's making actually, which is really good. And on a personal level, Saturn, as you said, going retrograde, um, it doesn't mean to say that the dreams aren't going to happen. I mean, it's still there with Neptune, sort of tightly with Neptune. The conjunction of the two planets will happen next February. But just for a minute, you're going to have to take a step back and wait while you just incubate things, I think, actually. I think it's a sort of time for incubation. And incubation is something that's kind of emphasized this year, I think, with that idea of Jupiter in Cancer as well, the idea of just incubating something, like you do with babies and stuff, and just let it grow naturally and wait until the time's right to actually release it. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think with Saturn, I think also it's like a reality check. I mean, no, it's
Definitely.
because Neptune is like you don't have borders, and Saturn is about
Yeah.
the limits. So it's like, hold on a second. I mean, where are we going? I mean, it's like, yeah, because it can get out of your control. I mean, if you let it go, I mean, like with Aries also, it's like moving so fast. I mean, in that way, all that energy that
Mm.
is coming with the Mars ruler, I mean, it's like, so it's like, come on, wait, reality check. Let's sit. And yeah, it's like sleep on it a bit, a few months. It's like nearly 6 months, more or less.
Well, yeah, no, no, that's absolutely true. It is
Yeah,
exactly that, I think.
yeah.
And talking of which, I mean, Mercury is about to go retrograde as well. We can see, yeah, at 15 degrees of Leo. So anyone with any planets just there or angles will feel this kind of shift of energy, I think, from the sort of outgoing, trying to express themselves, trying to put their ideas across, what I bring to the party. Very much then to just, okay, I'm just going to rethink how I'm doing this, rethink how I'm communicating these things. And Mercury, well, Leo can be a little bit fragile as well. You know, it needs to get attention. So it might be just retreating a little bit out of the limelight and just kind of putting things back together a little bit. You know, editing is a great thing for Mercury retrograde in general. And in Leo, it might be just editing or rethinking something, a project that you want to bring out into the world. This idea of incubating again, really, I think actually is coming up. Incubating something.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's
And it's
really
making that
good.
nice. Actually, I just noticed that really nice sextile to Venus as it does that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Good for,
So
nice for
yeah,
relationships,
yeah, it
friendships that
is,
day.
yeah, yeah. It
Getting
could
in
be. I
touch
mean,
with
it could.
people that you haven't
Yeah,
seen for a while, all the usual Mercury retrograde stuff, I should think.
yeah. That they bring people. They say from the past that you haven't seen for a
It's
long
really
time. You
true.
haven't.
It
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
It
yeah,
happens so often to me. Suddenly somebody turns up at your door and you think, oh, wow, I haven't seen you for years. They say, oh, we were just in the area. Can we call in? Literally. It's
yeah.
really funny. Anyway.
After that, where do we go?
So after that, we actually have a Venus Mars square. Let's have a look
Mm,
here. Where is
yeah,
Venus and where is Mars? Yeah, so we're just looking at this Venus Mars square here. Mars is moving through the South Node, and then the square is perfecting around the 22nd of July.
which is the day that the sun is actually going into Leo.
Leo,
That's the same day that
its own
yeah,
sign. That's
just
true.
for 12
Yes.
minutes. I think you can, like,
So
more or
it's going to
less.
do that in just a few. Okay. Are we there yet? Okay. Oop, there we
Yes, we are
are.
there. We are there
Okay.
just now.
Yeah, great. So yeah, the sun into Leo, its own sign where it shines most brightly. This is the hot summertime, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is the Leo. I'm expressing myself. Look how hot I am. I'm having a lovely time. I'm being me on the stage. Unfortunately, it's opposing Pluto this year.
Yeah, that
Um,
is
yeah, so it's a bit
in
like,
a 2 days probably it would be making the exact opposition
yeah,
after that.
yeah, a couple of days. And interestingly, though, look, it's moving into Leo just as the moon is in its own sign, too. So we've got the purest expression of the moon, you know, ourselves, our instincts, our lunar sort of nurturing inner worlds, and then the sun as well. So I've got both of those things sort of in this chart. That's really nice, actually. I like that. And the sun, of course, immediately moves into a lovely flowing trine aspect with these two down here, our Saturn and Neptune, and into that really nice sort of mini grand trine with Uranus as well there. So I think this is all quite positive and it mitigates this opposition, thank goodness. It takes some
Yeah.
of the power away from it and spreads it into something a little bit more positive, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Could be.
Yeah. But
Uh,
there's still with Leo aside, opposite Pluto, that the idea of power struggle, isn't there really? I think.
it's about, I think, us and the society in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Hmm.
yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, like, what? I mean, yeah, that kind of a struggle. I mean, it could be also an inner struggle. I mean, because
Mm.
we
True.
sometimes, yeah, it could be. I mean, it's, like, also where do I put? I mean. it's not against to someone exactly, but it could be something completely inner struggle as well. Yeah,
Well,
depending
this
on
is
the thing.
the no, I think you're absolutely right, Terry. It's called known as the axis of identity, this one. So
Yeah.
it's like, who am I in the world? Who am I in society? You know, okay, I feel like I'm all this amazing people. I want all this attention. You know, I'm really warm and generous. I'm Leo. But then you come up into society and suddenly nobody sees you like that. And you're like, well, how do I fit in then? How can I, you know, make everything that I am work? What can I bring to this space, to this social
It's in
group?
it's in a way, how can I continue shining as I am, but being part and being at least, I mean,
Yeah.
something useful for the society. I'm not saying that, no one gets wrong. I mean that Leo is not
Hmm.
useful, but it's like also, I mean, in addition to myself, what kind of an addition that I can make to the community that I'm part of. That's the thing, I mean, and finding that
Yeah.
balance in a way. We are Leo rising, so that
Yeah, yeah, we are.
there we are.
And we're
uh
making this amazing contribution. Or
yeah,
so we think
exactly.
anyway.
Exactly. Then after this we
Yeah,
come to 24th of July,
24th of July.
for the full moon.
Yes, the new
No,
new
it's
moon.
the new moon. Sorry, new
New
moon
moon,
in
sure.
Leo.
Yeah. Again, what time is that so I don't make
It's
everyone feel
10
nauseous
past
by
10 past 9 in.
yeah, okay. 10 past 10 in
And
France.
today
That's
we have
fine.
Regio Montanus, like that, like the horror, the house system.
Oh
Okay.
gosh, do we? Is that
Yeah,
what it's in?
yeah, that's fine. I mean, we in the end, the aspects are the
Oh
same, so
yes,
I
you're
didn't.
right. No, you're absolutely right. It's because I sometimes, if I do a horary chart, I look at Regiomontanus. Yes, no, you're absolutely
Exactly.
true. I usually work in equal house, but it doesn't matter anyway, does it? Because it's
Yeah, exactly. No,
depending,
no, no. You can see the all the aspects, etc. How
depending
they
where you
are.
are in the world. There we are.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay. Yeah, I hadn't noticed I
So,
had it in Regiomontanus. Sorry.
so we have the is it why do I have, because it should be at the 2 degrees 07 thing. Then I gave you the wrong time. Let me see. I was
Let me just check. It should be
10 past 9.
12:32 here.
12
Let me
past
see.
no 10 past 9, not the 10. 10 past
Eh?
9. It is 12 10 in your
Well, it's on Wednesday
first.
for a start, isn't it?
Yes, but
I've got lost here, Terry.
no, you have
Oh,
to
that's Cancer,
get one
sorry.
one 1 hour back. If you can get it 1 hour back, your
Okay,
chart.
just an hour back, fine. Yeah, let's
Yes,
do that.
yes,
Oh, I
yes.
see you gave me the right time. Sorry, I thought you'd given me the UK time.
Okay, that's it.
We're there now.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, it's, I think that a few probably seconds or something. It's 2 degrees, yeah, 08, let's say,
Yeah, we
in
do like it to be
Leo.
exact because we have got some Virgo in our charts too. So we are a bit OCD here.
So we have it nice. I mean, like, of course, we have this opposition again, continuing with the Pluto, which is I was telling, the nearly the
It's
exact
wedge, isn't
opposition
it?
with the, yeah, it's there. I mean, with the thing, but it's like, I mean, it's like at the end of the day, Leo is creativity and all this authenticity. I mean, it could be a good time that, yeah, that we could put all this thing. Also, I mean, it's not exactly, I mean, conjunct, the Mercury is white and it's retrograde in that chart. Uh, Whatever we are starting, the new seeds that are we are planting, there could
Yeah.
be an element of all that creative energy in that thing. And of course, I think as the Mercury is retrograde, maybe we should be more mindful about our thoughts, the ideas that we are putting forward
Yeah.
to make that initiative steps. And also we again have to that balance with the all the transformation, or whatever the Pluto, the power
Yes.
in society it presents. I mean, like, we have to make sure that we remind ourselves that it's not only us,
Hmm.
there is the rest. So I mean,
Yeah.
all those have to be taken into account. And I think you can also tell us what do you think about the Saturn and Neptune? They are just trining in a nice way, that new
Yeah,
moon.
I think that's really nice actually. And I mean it's pretty much an exact trine to Neptune, is it? I really liked what you said about authenticity with the new moon in Leo actually, bringing forward our authentic selves. Um, and yes, trining those two with Neptune still being about our ideals and our dreams. And this is about then how, and Neptune sort of going backwards a little bit, rethinking. So, how can we be authentic in what we're doing? How can we actually be authentic in ourselves about the way we're pursuing our dreams and the boundaries that are set around them by this Saturn, and still bring that into society in a way that it works really, in terms of how can we be this person within the society, as we find ourselves in society. I think it's nice. I think it's a nice way to start the new cycle, actually. Yeah, because the opposition is very much softened by this Neptune here, very much softened by, the social situation and things. Okay, they're retrograde, but things look like whatever it is that you want to do with some thought, with some care, it might be possible,
Yeah,
with some confidence as well. Leo's quite confident, isn't it?
yeah,
And some
exactly,
leadership.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think I like the new moon.
Yeah, it's
So anyone who's got planets or angles around 2 degrees of the fixed signs, that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, might really feel this actually as a challenge to a new beginning in some area of your life, depending where you find that, where you've got those, which area, which house those planets are in. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
After this, we are like we are like around 40 minutes already. So, uh, Chiron retro,
Yeah.
retro July is the last retrograde. Chiron going to station retrograde on the 30th of July, and it would be.
Before we do that, Terry, I just wanted to mention actually, let's just come back a second, that Mars and Venus square, which is ruled by
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Mercury
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because that's
exactly.
sort of ongoing for a few days and it's sort of peaks there around the 22nd, 23rd of July. And it is ruled by Mercury, which is retrograde in Leo. So Mercury's rethinking things, and I think it's actually just rethinking because of Leo being about what we want actually and what we want to do to express ourselves. I think there's a sense here of a reworking of relationships, a rebalancing in a way to just to try and work out the challenges that might be in a relationship here this just by working through how we can let go of stuff individually, Mars and Venus, our values or how we want to control the situation and drive through the situation, Mars. I think it's a reworking of stuff anyway, probably concerning relationships or a particular situation, especially if there's things around 21 degrees of mutable signs now. Um, so we're looking at Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So yeah, I think there's some work to be done there on a personal level, on an interpersonal level. It's not a big social thing, this, but yeah. Did that make sense? Did you get
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 yeah. It is. It is.
Okay, that's fine. We can move forward, yeah, because we are coming to the end of our time to that Chiron retrograde. Chiron can be painful, wherever it's sort of going backwards
I
and
think you
forwards.
are already on the retrograde. It's exactly the that chart. I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
is that all
it's
right?
1542, but it also it moves. I mean, quite slow. So that's the right.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
going to. So it's the that degrees, the 27 degrees 09 minutes in Aries. I mean, like
Yeah.
So Chiron retrograde. So Chiron retrograde. It's like I think during the Aries period, I think it retrograde so much because it's a long period of time. I mean, it doesn't stay in a sign, every sign that long. Some of the signs it stays two years, etc., and
Yeah.
then just passes. But I think Pisces, Aries, and also Taurus are the signs that it stays like, oh, I'm staying the long. That becomes really something more generational rather than I mean, like a social planet impact.
Yes, I totally agree. However, if you do have planets around that 27 of the cardinal signs, I think you could feel this stationing actually, because it can be quite difficult. It can be, I mean, I've found that when it sort of expresses itself in a chart, it can be just something hurtful sometimes or something painful that comes up actually, and you have to sort of deal with it because it touches a wound. um, you know, wherever that falls in your chart. And Chiron in Aries is a wound to how do I go out and you know, go for what I want. So a hesitation there, you know, do I have the right to do that? And as it goes backwards and forwards, you know, there's a sense of asking yourself that question, I think. And when it passes for the final time in this cycle, it's got a 50-year cycle, then normally when the planet makes its last pass over a point in a chart, any chart, you have a resolution of some kind to that issue, don't you? Whether it's the one you wanted or not, usually the issue kind of is resolved or moves on or the situation changes. So I think it's an interesting point. I mean, it will go back for a bit and then it comes back again, and it's making its last sort of last passes through these final degrees of Aries now. Yeah, for anyone
Yeah,
who's got
yeah,
planets there.
like myself.
Yeah.
Now I recognize. So yeah, it's the Chiron. Yeah, that could be about the. It's the at the end of the day, it could be also the that relationship with the past and the future, and its areas. It could be at a personal level, or
That's
also
really true.
there is this. I mean the. Um, Teaching, but teaching, I mean teaching in the sense that like mentorship and everything that is coming through the
Mm,
Chiron, and what I think sometimes it's like the lessons that we teach
yeah.
ourselves. I mean, because things happen, etc., and then you
Yeah.
go around, and then what kind of lessons that I have learned, or what should I make out of those lessons. And I think Chiron retrograde period is a period that we will have good amount of time to think about all those lessons and all those relationships,
Yeah.
the past and the future. So yeah, let ourselves we have a lot of thinking, to a lot of reflection, I think, to do in the following months, thanks
In the
to
coming months,
Saturn,
yeah.
Neptune, and Chiron. I mean, in different areas. I mean, it's Aries. I mean, at the end of the day, it would be more or less in the same area of life. Actually, all that
Hmm.
reflection would be going around. So we have to
Yeah,
think. I
that's
mean,
very
like,
true. All
what
of
is it
those
about?
planets.
Yeah.
It's a reflection in fire, actually, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
we've got Mercury retrograde in fire as well. So it's really about our vision for the future, you know, how our confidence for the future is about yeah, I think is the what we're looking at here. Yeah, interesting. And then the last day, and we've got Venus, who's sort of sitting there in the anaretic, the last degree of Gemini, talking madly, probably to everybody. Um, yeah, then moves into
Well,
Cancer.
let's make lots of friends. It's summer holiday.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
exactly. Yeah,
let's
it's very
socialize. Yeah.
sociable,
Yeah.
very sociable, very kind of mutable Venus. Maybe having lots of love affairs there at the end of Gemini. I don't know, sort of, but certainly being entertaining and yeah, sort of lots of information, and then moving into Cancer where she's where her mood's going to be changing, and she's immediately going to be ruled by this moon in Scorpio, so it's a much more feeling vibe now, much more feeling values about again with this Cancer, you know, about nurturing, about where do I belong, essentially. that's the question that it's asking here. Where is my home, this Venus in Cancer? And hopefully when she arrives at Jupiter in August, she'll find out.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. The lots of meanings will come through our minds, I think, with the start of the August. In that
Yeah.
sense, I mean, yeah, it's a nice finish, but again, we will again finish the month thanks to Venus. Venus, you shouldn't have done that with the that it gets out of the air, and again, we are without air again. I think
Oh, that's
we
true. Yes.
work through our like that mediumship that kinds, I mean, like mediation that comes through the air signs. I mean, we
Mm.
really have to make a lot of effort. I mean, like that, especially Venus coming out of there. I think we would be completely more fiery, and because after that theory, and hopefully when Mars, it will take time for it to move to the, that's the thing, I mean, that it will
Yeah.
actually move, I think, in August, Mars into Leo, I know, in
Into
Libra,
Libra.
so to
Yeah.
Libra, so I think even in that moment, that then the air will come out again, I think, thanks to Mars, and it
Yes, I
to
think it
Mars.
will. And yes, you're absolutely right. It's moving into a much more realm of feeling. And Mercury connecting here, I'm about to make that inferior conjunction with the Sun. You know, which could be a moment of inspiration, but at the same time, it's very much about how I think and how I want to express myself here, even if they are sort of thinking it through, you know. Yeah, so you're right, there's much less air in this chart, and that is interesting again. So
Yeah.
yeah, so shall we stop there?
Yes, I think so.
Here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
And
here we are.
thanks very much, Terry. That was a great chat.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I think we always have this. We only write these, I mean, things, I mean, all the events down, and everything is like we look at it. I mean, we don't get any preparation. I mean, in not sense that we all our
Think
preparation is
yourself, I
our
have pages of
like
preparation.
all our preparation is actually it's our I mean, experience, knowledge, and
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, the exchange that we are getting at that moment, because we tell things,
The
and then
bouncing off, isn't it?
I mean, it brings another idea to the other one, and then
Hmm.
it's a I think wonderful exchange, and I really enjoy our talks, and we hope that you enjoy our
Yes, yes, we
talks
do.
as well.
Yes, we do.
So I mean, we will be here hopefully for August again, and
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely.
so that there would be any sign changes, etc. I think with Uranus in Gemini, we just completed everything, but we will be back for August astrology, and until then, everyone stay well.
Yeah, yes, stay
Yeah,
well, take care. Okay, thanks very much.
bye bye.
Bye-bye.